The peaceful Altarian coalition faces annihilation from the aggressive Vorthon Empire. Their technologically superior enemies have conquered system after system with overwhelming force. In desperation, the coalition's High Council sends out a distress beacon across the galaxy, hoping to find mercenaries or allies willing to help for the right price. Captain Jiwoo of the coalition vessel, Harmony's Hope, monitors the communication arrays, waiting for any response to their plea. The coalition has heard rumors of a recently spacefaring species from a remote system, humans from a planet called Earth. Initial reports suggest they're primitive but willing to work as hired soldiers. When Earth's response finally arrives, it's not what anyone expected. Instead of a formal military transmission, they receive a message from Commander Minho of the Earth Defense Corps. "We'll help," sending a diplomatic and military assessment team. The coalition expects a few dozen soldiers and negotiators. What arrives at the rendezvous point changes everything. A massive fleet of Earth vessels, each one bristling with weapons and carrying thousands of humans. Dr. Sumin, the coalition's xenobiologist, conducts the first formal meeting with the human delegation. She's shocked to learn that what Earth considers a small expeditionary force consists of 50,000 humans across multiple specialties: Marines, engineers, medics, and specialists they call ghost operatives. Part 2. Deathworld Revelations. As the human forces integrate with coalition troops, disturbing truths emerge about Earth's nature. Lieutenant Taiho of the Coalition Navy watches in horror as human soldiers casually lift equipment that requires mechanical assistance for his people. During a routine medical examination, Dr. Nari discovers that human blood clots in seconds. Their bones are denser than military-grade materials, and their reflexes operate at impossible speeds. The humans' casual attitudes toward danger become apparent during their first joint training exercise. Marine Sergeant Kyung demonstrates human combat techniques to coalition forces, moving with predatory grace that makes seasoned warriors step back in instinctive fear. When asked about Earth's military training, Captain Hana mentions that their basic survival course involves scenarios that would be considered extreme torture by coalition standards. Do Hyun, a coalition strategic analyst, begins investigating Earth's historical records that the humans freely share. What he discovers keeps him awake for days. Humanity's entire history is one continuous cycle of warfare, survival against impossible odds, and adaptation to threats that would destroy other species. Earth itself is revealed to be what Galactic xenobiologists classify as a Class 2 death world, a planet so hostile that no rational species would evolve there. The turning point comes when the Vorthon Empire sends an advance fleet to test the coalition's new primitive allies. The human response is swift and terrifying. Captain Sojin of the Earth ship Iron Resolve calmly orders what he calls standard engagement protocols. Within minutes, the vastly superior Vorthon fleet is reduced to debris, with human ships barely registering damage. Part 3. The Price of Victory. The Vorthon Empire, facing their first significant defeat in centuries, escalates the conflict. They deploy their most feared weapon, the plague ships, vessels carrying engineered bioweapons designed to exterminate entire planetary populations. The coalition prepares for evacuation, knowing their end has come. The human response shocks everyone. Dr. Minji, Earth's chief medical officer, examines the bioweapon samples and declares them mildly concerning. Within hours, human medics have developed countermeasures and vaccines. Admiral Jinwoo explains that Earth's history of pandemics, biological warfare, and environmental toxins has made humanity essentially immune to most biological weapons. The final battle becomes a demonstration of human tactical brilliance and terrifying adaptability. Colonel Yuna leads a seemingly impossible assault on the Vorthon homeworld itself. Using strategies that violate every principle of civilized warfare, the humans employ psychological warfare, environmental manipulation, and combat techniques that leave the Vorthon Empire's military completely demoralized. Wu Jin, a coalition war correspondent, documents the aftermath. The mighty Vorthon Empire, conquerors of 100 worlds, surrenders unconditionally after facing humanity for less than 6 months. Their leaders describe the humans as demons who fight like the void itself has given them form. In the story's resolution, the Coalition realizes they've invited something into their galaxy that changes everything. Jihi, now appointed as the Coalition's permanent liaison to Earth, reflects on the price of their salvation. Humanity has saved them, but the galaxy will never be the same. The humans' casual mention of their peaceful exploration fleet, following behind the military forces, hints that Earth's expansion into the galaxy has only just begun. The story ends with Sunho, a young Coalition citizen, watching human children play games that would be considered military training exercises by any other species. He realizes that what makes humans terrifying isn't their capacity for violence. It's that they've never known a world without it, and somehow retained their humanity despite it. Story themes. The contrast between civilized galactic society and humanity's brutal evolutionary background, how Earth's hostile environment created the ultimate survivors. The double-edged nature of asking for help from apex predators. Humanity's paradoxical combination of violence and compassion. Key character. Archetypes: human military leaders, calm, competent, and casually terrifying in their efficiency. Coalition officials, gradually realizing they've made a deal with forces beyond their comprehension. Alien perspectives, providing outsider viewpoints on humanity's true nature. Scientific observers, uncovering the biological and psychological realities of Deathworld evolution. Dr. Suman tried not to stare as the human soldiers moved equipment around the Coalition base. Each metal crate weighed over 200 kilograms. Her people needed mechanical lifters to move them. The humans just picked them up and carried them, like they were empty boxes. "Is this normal for your species?" she asked Dr. Nari, who was setting up a medical station nearby. Dr. Nari looked confused. "What do you mean?" "The strength. Your soldiers are lifting things that should be impossible." "Oh, that." Dr. Nari shrugged. "Earth has high gravity. We evolved to be strong. This is normal for us." Suman made notes on her datapad. High-gravity worlds were rare. Most species came from planets with gentle environments. She had never met anyone from a high-gravity world before. Across the base, Lieutenant Taiho of the Coalition Navy watched human Marines training. What he saw made his blood run cold. Sergeant Kyung moved like liquid death. She dodged attacks that Taiho couldn't even see coming. Her movements were too fast, too smooth. When she struck training dummies, they exploded into pieces. "How do you train soldiers to move like that?" Taiho asked Major Wu Jin, the human training officer. "Basic combat school," Major Wu Jin replied. "Every human learns this. We start when we're children." "Children?" Taiho's voice cracked. "You train children to fight like this?" "Of course, Earth is dangerous. Children who can't defend themselves don't survive long." Taiho stepped back. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He thought he understood combat, but watching these humans made him feel like a child playing with toys. Analyst Do Hyun spent 3 days reading human historical records. He wished he had never started. His hands shook as he scrolled through file after file of human wars, disasters, and survival stories. The humans had fought constantly for their entire history, not just wars between nations, but against their own planet. Earth tried to kill them with diseases, natural disasters, dangerous animals, and poisonous plants. Somehow humans had survived all of it. "Captain Jiwoo," Do Hyun called over the communication system. "You need to see this." Jiwoo arrived at the data center within minutes. "What did you find?" "Sir, Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. Do you know what that means?" Jiwoo frowned. "I've heard the term. Aren't those planets where nothing can survive?" "Exactly. The Galactic database lists only 3 Class 12 worlds. All of them are considered completely uninhabitable, except one of them has humans living on it." Do Hyun pulled up images of Earth. Beautiful blue oceans and green continents filled the screen. It looked peaceful and lovely. "This is Earth 65 million years ago," Do Hyun continued. "A space rock 10 kilometers wide hit the planet. It killed almost everything alive. Most worlds would stay dead forever after something like that. But Earth didn't stay dead? No, sir. Life came back. It always comes back on Earth. The planet has survived 5 mass extinction events. Each time, life found a way to continue. More images appeared. Massive storms that could destroy cities. Earthquakes that split the ground open. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun for years. Diseases that killed millions at a time. Humans evolved on a world that constantly tried to murder them, Do-hyun whispered. They didn't just survive. They conquered it. The truth about human nature became clear during the first combat test. A Vorthon scouting fleet of 12 ships appeared at the edge of Coalition space. It was a standard probe attack to test the new human allies. Captain Seojin of the Earth ship Iron Resolve received the alert. His response was calm and professional. All units, standard engagement protocols. We have hostile contacts, eliminate them. Standard protocols? Asked Captain Jiwoo from his observation post. Shouldn't we try to capture some for questioning? Negative. Captain Seojin replied. They came here to kill your people. We're going to kill them first. What happened next would give Coalition officers nightmares for years. The human ships moved like predators closing in on prey. They didn't charge forward like most military forces. Instead, they spread out and surrounded the Vorthon fleet in seconds. The Vorthons opened fire with their best weapons. Energy beams that could cut through any known armor struck the human ships. The humans barely noticed. Their shields held easily and they kept advancing. How are they doing that? Lieutenant Taiho gasped. Those are military-grade plasma cannons. Our ships are built tough, Major Woojin explained. We designed them to survive anything. The human counterattack was swift and terrible. They didn't just shoot back. They used tactics that seemed impossible. One human ship pretended to be damaged and drifted toward the Vorthons. When enemy ships came close to finish it off, the damaged ship exploded with hidden weapons. 3 Vorthon vessels died instantly. Another human ship fired special missiles that didn't explode. Instead, they attached to enemy hulls and began cutting through armor. The Vorthons tried to remove them, but the missiles had defensive systems that killed anyone who got close. The worst part was the psychological warfare. The humans broadcast messages on Vorthon frequencies, but instead of threats or demands, they sent detailed descriptions of human anatomy and what happened to human bodies in various types of accidents. Why are they doing that? Dr. Sumin asked. Horrified. Fear is a weapon, explained Dr. Nari. Scared enemies make mistakes. Mistakes get them killed. Within 20 minutes, the entire Vorthon fleet was destroyed. 12 advanced warships reduced to floating debris. The human ships had barely taken any damage. My God, whispered Captain Jiwoo. What are you people? Captain Seojin's voice came over the communication system. His tone was still calm and professional. We're humans, Captain. We come from Earth, and we're very good at killing things that try to hurt our friends. That night, Dr. Sumin couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the medical scans she had taken of human volunteers. Their bodies were wrong in ways that terrified her. Human blood clotted in seconds, not minutes. Their bones were denser than military armor. Their reflexes operated faster than most computer systems. Their brains processed stress and danger in ways that seemed designed for constant warfare. But the worst discovery was in their DNA. Humans carried genetic markers from dozens of diseases that should have killed them. Instead, their immune systems had adapted to fight off almost anything. They're not just strong, she whispered to herself. They're built to survive things that would destroy entire civilizations. Outside her window, human soldiers walked patrol routes around the base. They moved silently through the darkness, eyes constantly scanning for threats. They never seemed to rest or relax. Dr. Sumin realized something that made her hands shake with fear. The Coalition had asked for help from mercenaries. Instead, they had invited apex predators into their galaxy, and those predators had agreed to protect them. She wasn't sure if that was salvation or the beginning of something much worse. The humans were their allies now. But what would happen when the war was over? What would these Deathworld survivors do when they no longer had enemies to fight? Sumin pulled her blankets closer and tried not to think about it. Outside, the human guards continued their endless patrol, keeping watch over a galaxy that had no idea what it had just unleashed. The emergency alarm screamed through Coalition headquarters. Captain Jiwoo ran to the command center where his officers stood frozen in terror. "What's happening?" he shouted over the noise. "The Vorthons," Lieutenant Taiho gasped. "They've deployed the plague ships." Jiwoo's blood turned to ice. Every species in the galaxy feared the plague ships. The Vorthons used them to destroy entire worlds with engineered diseases. No one had ever survived a plague attack. "How many ships?" Jiwoo asked. 15. They're heading for our 3 largest colonies. 2 billion people live on those worlds. The Coalition had no defense against biological weapons. Their medical technology couldn't fight diseases designed by the Vorthon's best scientists. They had maybe 6 hours before the plague ships reached their targets. "Evacuate everyone," Jiwoo ordered. "Get as many people off those planets as possible." "Sir," Taiho said quietly, "we don't have enough ships. Most of our people are going to die." Dr. Minji of the Earth Medical Corps received the plague ship. Data 30 minutes later. She studied the biological weapon samples that Coalition scouts had managed to steal. Her reaction surprised everyone. "This is what you're worried about?" she asked Dr. Suman. "Those diseases will kill everyone they touch," Suman replied. "The Vorthons have used them to destroy 47 worlds." Dr. Minji looked at the data again and shrugged. "These are pretty basic bioweapons. We had worse plagues on Earth 500 years ago." "Worse?" Suman couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Sure. The Black Death killed half of Europe. Spanish flu killed 50 million people worldwide. Smallpox wiped out entire civilizations. This Vorthon stuff is amateur work compared to what Earth produces naturally." Dr. Minji called her medical team. Within 2 hours, they had created vaccines and treatments for all the Vorthon bioweapons. What should have taken years of research the humans solved before lunch. "How is this possible?" Dr. Suman asked, watching human medics mass-produce medicine. "Earth is a plague world," Dr. Minji explained. "Our planet creates new diseases constantly. Our bodies learn to fight everything. These alien bugs can't compete with millions of years of Earth evolution." Admiral Jinwoo received orders to stop the plague ships. Most military commanders would have tried to destroy them from a distance. The risk of infection was too great for direct assault. Admiral Jinwoo had a different plan. "We're going to board those ships," he announced to his strike team. Colonel Yuna, leader of the human Marines, smiled. "Finally, I was getting bored with long-range fighting." "Admiral," Captain Jiwoo protested over the communication link, "boarding those ships is suicide. The biological contamination will kill your people in minutes." "Captain," Admiral Jinwoo replied calmly, "we appreciate your concern, but humans don't die that easily." The assault began at dawn. Human ships closed with the plague ships while Coalition forces watched in horror. Everyone expected to see the humans die horribly from disease. Instead, they witnessed something impossible. Human Marines cut through the hulls of enemy ships and poured inside. They fought in environments that should have killed them instantly. Poisonous gases, deadly bacteria, and engineered viruses filled the air. The humans kept fighting. "Status report," Admiral Jinwoo requested. "Deck 1 secured," Colonel Yuna reported. "These bugs are making me sneeze a little, but nothing serious." "Deck 2 clear," reported Major Sunho. "Found the plague production labs. Destroying them now." Within 4 hours, all 15 plague ships were captured or destroyed. Not a single human had died from biological weapons. A few complained about stuffy noses. The final battle came when the Vorthon Empire sent their entire remaining fleet to Earth's location. Over 800 ships appeared, ready to crush the humans who had humiliated them. Emperor Korthak himself led the attack. He broadcast a message to the human fleet. "Primitive Deathworlders," he snarled. "You have interfered with the Empire for the last time. We will show you what real power looks like." Commander Minho's response was calm and polite. "Emperor Korthak, we gave you chances to stop. You chose to continue hurting our friends. Now we're going to end this." "You think your small fleet can defeat the might of 800 warships?" Korthak laughed. "No," Commander Minho said. "We think one ship can defeat 800 warships. The rest are here to watch." What happened next broke the Vorthon Empire's will to fight. The human ship Retribution moved forward alone. It was smaller than most Vorthon vessels, but something about it made enemy sensors scream warnings. The Vorthons opened fire with everything they had. Energy weapons, missiles, and exotic matter bombs struck the human ship. The attacks were powerful, enough to crack moons. The Retribution absorbed every hit without taking damage. Its shields didn't even flicker. Then it fired back. The weapon wasn't like anything in the Galactic database. It didn't explode or burn. Instead, it reached into Vorthon ships and turned off their power systems. Engines died. Life support failed. Weapons went silent. In less than 10 minutes, 800 warships became floating tombs. "Surrender now," Commander Minho broadcast to the helpless fleet, "and we'll rescue your crews. Keep fighting and we'll leave you to drift in space forever." Emperor Korthak's voice shook with terror. "What are you? What kind of monsters build weapons like this?" "We're humans," Commander Minho replied. "We come from a world that tried to kill us every day for millions of years. We learned to build things that survive anything, including you." 6 months later, the war was over. The Vorthon Empire had surrendered completely. Their military leaders begged for mercy from the terrifying humans who had destroyed them so easily. Coalition diplomat Jihye sat in her new office, handling peace negotiations. She still couldn't believe how quickly everything had changed. "The Vorthons want to know what kind of punishment Earth will demand," she reported to Commander Minho. "No punishment," he replied. "Just promise never to hurt innocent people again. And maybe send some of your young people to study with us. We'll teach them better ways to solve problems." Jihye was amazed by human mercy. After such complete victory, they could have demanded anything. Instead, they offered education and friendship. But late at night, when she watched human children playing in the Coalition parks, she still felt afraid. Their games looked like military training. They moved, with the same predatory grace as their parents. Young Wu Jin, barely 8 years old, showed her a toy he had built. It looked innocent enough until he demonstrated how it worked. The toy could have been used as a weapon to level buildings. "It's just for fun," he said, with a bright smile. "My dad taught me how to make it." Jihye realized that humanity's greatest strength was also their greatest danger. They had saved the galaxy from the Vorthons. But they had also shown everyone what apex predators looked like when they decided to leave their homeworld. The Coalition was safe now. The question was, what would happen when humans got bored with peace? Outside her window, more human ships arrived every day. They called it a peaceful exploration fleet, but each vessel carried enough firepower to conquer systems. Jihye filed her daily report and tried not to think about the future. The Coalition had asked for help, and they had received it. The price might not come due for years or even decades, but someday, the galaxy would have to deal with the consequences of unleashing Earth's Deathworlders among the stars. For now, though, they were humanity's friends, and that was the safest place to be in a universe where humans existed.